In Singapore 25 years ago, there wasn't such an industry called wealth advisory, financial advisory, investment advisory. If you want to do personal finance, you either join the insurance company or you join the banks. So I decided to join the insurance company. And when I joined the insurance company, I was promised that I'm going to learn how to do financial planning and I'm going to provide financial advice to my clients. But unfortunately, in the 3 years that I spent in the insurance company, I didn't learn anything about that. I was doing a lot more product selling. I have to say that the commissions, they're very good. I actually did very well in the 3 years, but I wasn't satisfied because I wasn't really giving proper advice. So the turning point really came when I met a very big client at the time, and I was there as usual proposing an insurance policy for him. And when he looked at the policy, he put it aside, he looked at me, and this was exactly what he said. He said, "Chris, you know I like you, right? And every time you come, I will buy something from you. But surely there will come a time whereby I don't need insurance anymore." And actually that made me very guilty because he was right. And so after that conversation with him a few months later, I decided to quit the insurance industry and started Providend on my own, and that was 2001. When I started Providend, I wanted it to be completely different from how the industry was. So when we started off, we started as a fee-only wealth advisory firm. And by fee-only, we mean that when clients take advice from us, they pay us a fee for advice. We don't take commissions at all. If there are any product transactions and as a result of that, there are commissions, we rebate the commissions 100% back to the clients. If we refer the business out to someone and someone wants to pay us commission, we said no. If you're going to pay us commission, you give it back to the clients. We think that this is the best way to mitigate conflict of interest that is inherent in commission. And the other thing that was different, not sure about the Chinese market, but back in Singapore, even till today, the advisors, they are like what we call 自雇人士, self-employed. They earn a commission. They decide what they want to sell to their clients. There is no standardized way of doing things in a company. But we decided that when we built Providend, we wanted it to be a professional practice firm, like a law firm, like an accounting firm. So we make sure that our advice is institutionalized. And what that means is that we have two groups of people in the firm. One group will be the advisors giving advice. They are client-facing. They do the general wealth advice. But there are specialist groups. For example, we have a group called Solutions Team. The Solutions Team are the research and development team. And these are the team that research into best practices in insurance, in estate planning. Then we have another team of people we call the investment team. This is the team that specializes in investment management. So they are the people that create portfolios, they pick the instruments, and they manage the portfolios on a day-to-day basis. And the reason why we do that is because we believe that in wealth advisory, it has got to be a team approach because no one person can be an expert in every area. So we decided to make it team-based. But with team-based, we are also able to institutionalize, standardize the advice. So what that means is that if you come to my company and you speak to 3 different client advisors and you tell them exactly the same thing, you are going to walk out with exactly the same advice because all the advisors will be using the same assumptions, the same planning methodology, the same planning tool. And when it comes to investment portfolios that they will choose for you, they can only choose those portfolios that's been created by the investment team. They cannot choose the products themselves, right? So that's how we ensure competency in advice. That's how we ensure standardization of advice. So that's our journey so far. I mean, we've been doing this for the last 23 years.
With the rise of technology such as AI and machine learning, how do you think they will impact the role of wealth advisors?
It really depends on the kind of wealth advisors that you are. I mean, if you are a wealth advisor that is just focusing on product selling and you sell just based on relationship, you'll be overtaken by technology. There's no doubt about it. I'm already seeing that in Singapore. Today in Singapore, with a click of a button, in fact, the Singapore government provides it. You can compare the insurance products of various companies and you can pick the best product at a click of a button. You don't need an advisor to do that for you. So I think that if you are an advisor that is just product selling, you'll be overtaken by tech. AI will replace you. However, if you are an advisor that adds a lot of value, right? And I don't just mean the value in planning for clients. Because even in planning, technology is very good at that. Right? There are plenty of calculators out there on the website. But I think if you're an advisor, learn to be able to discover what really motivates the client to plan. So think about what are their life goals. What is by their definition of a good life? For example, today if I ask you, what is your definition of a good life? You probably will be thinking like, wow, that's a very deep topic. But I'm able to guide you and say that, well, one definition of a good life is living at a place that you belong with the people you love, doing the right work on purpose. So I break it down for you and say, okay, now tell me, where is the place you think you belong? And then you tell me a few places. Who are the people that you love to live with? And then you tell me. And then what is the work that you want to do, even in retirement, and you tell me. And then I reduced it to the amount of money you need to live this good life before I even start the planning. These things is hard for computers to do.
That sounds more than a wealth advisor. It's like a life mentor.
Yes, yeah. It's what we call life planning, right? And that's what we do in Singapore. We spend a lot of time, a good 2 hours chit-chatting. Then you are not afraid of technology because technology cannot replace you, because interaction between human beings is an exchange of emotions and it's based on trust. If a machine tells you that it's been a pleasure serving you, you are not going to listen to the machine. Say, you're a computer, you won't feel anything. How is it a pleasure, right? But through the interaction, you can sense sincerity, the deep curiosity of your advisor wanting to really know who you are as a person. Before reducing it to the numbers, you're going to trust this person. And if you can do that very well, I don't think you need to worry about technology. You will have your job forever. I mean, no one is going to say that the robot is my best friend. No one is going to say that.
We mentioned trust. So in your opinion, how can wealth advisors build trust with investors?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I'm going to use, it's not from me, but there is a book called Trusted Advisor. And the author is David Meister and a few other sub-authors. Amongst many things that he has written, he gave a trust equation. He breaks down trust into an equation. And he says trust is equals to C plus R plus I divided by SO. C stands for credibility. R stands for reliability. And I stands for intimacy. SO is self-orientation. So what is credibility? What determines your credibility would be your knowledge, your experience, your professional qualifications, your title. That gives you credibility. Reliability is about saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Intimacy is about the ability to empathize. The emotions exchange that we talked about just now, that's empathy. And SO, self-orientation, is about focusing less on yourself, more on the client. So if you can mitigate conflict of interest, that's lower self-orientation. So if you think about it, the higher your credibility plus higher the reliability plus higher the intimacy divided by lower the self-orientation, the self-interest, the higher the trust. So if you're an advisor listening to this, then you ask yourself, how are you going to build your credibility? How are you going to build your reliability? And how are you going to improve that skill set to ensure intimacy? And what can you do in your practice to reduce that conflict of interest? And if you can do that over time, then you increase trust.